Hello friends, in this video I'm going to show you how to design a management application. This is a very professional dashboard and looks too beautiful. Also to learn what all things you need to implement in order to enhance your thinking how to design this kind of application too, because management application is little different from the ones which we have seen till now. So I'm quite sure you will be liking this particular video, so let's get started.
If you haven't had the chance to explore our website yet, we highly encourage you to visit and take a look right away. Currently, there is a major sale happening on our extensive range of courses and templates. You can enroll in these offerings and take advantage of our industry-ready products and comprehensive courses.
Now, as you can see here, I have already created a new project which is up and running. And for doing the same, if you're new to Ionic, definitely you need to install the Ionic CLI and start working with that. Then you have to create a new project of Ionic, for which this is the command which you have to run. And then you can choose any approach, ng modular, standalone. For this project, I'm going to go for standalone approach. And finally, you need to run Ionic serve in your terminal and it's going to start running in the browser. This is what I have done. You must be getting a different color here, possibly the bluish color. Now, why am I getting the yellow color? Have I done something different? Yes, definitely. What have I done is, in my variable.scss file, I have passed different colors. By default, there were no colors as of now, because in the latest version, we get all the colors, means the default theming color, into our non-modules folder. So if you have to change, definitely you have to pass the colon root, and within which you can pass all the colors, whichever is passed here. So all the colors I have changed. Whichever you don't change, it will get the default colors. So you can just simply check it here which all colors I have applied and you can do the same. You can take a help of the color generator which is present into the Ionic framework documentation in the guide section within the theming part. If I have to show you, let me just give you a brief idea about it. So I'll just get to the scrolling towards the theming and then color generator. Here you simply have to pass the first color of each and every one. And it will give you all the other colors into this particular code snippet. And simply you have to copy and paste it here. You're good to go with that. The design that we are going to build here is mostly related to the dark theming. So I will disable the dark theming for this particular application, which I don't need. For doing so, I'll go to the global.scss file, and here what I'll do is I'll just comment this particular dark mode, which will show up whenever your system is running in dark mode. So I don't want that. This is changed and variables.scss file is changed. That's it. We're good to. The initial setup is ready. It's time to start designing it up. I don't want the home page here. So I'm going to delete that, because at first I'm going to design the tab screen. I'm getting an error which is coming from the app route.ts file, as we have a default route here which I'll remove and change it to tabs by default, which is not present as of now. I'm going to create. And how will I do that? Well, I'll just go to a new terminal, and within this, let me create a new page. By using the command ionic g page, let me create a pages folder, which is easy to understand which are the pages, which are the components, which are the directives and all others. So I'll have the tabs page within that. Let me create it and check it out here. See, this folder is created automatically. We have the tab screen. Let me remove all the unnecessary things. Actually, nothing is required. So I remove everything. Now the only thing that I need is ion tabs, where I'm going to have the ion tab bar. See, all of them are imported automatically. I haven't done anything yet. I'm just typing it down and it is being taken automatically. Now, whichever you don't need, in the latest version, you will see this yellow warning mark. So you can simply remove all this. Earlier, it was not there. This is a good stuff. When something is not in use, definitely you can remove it up. Like common module and forms module, possibly in this particular page, I don't need that. So I'm removing it up, and you can do the same in your case also. So unnecessary imports are removed. Wait, I have removed something extra too. Yes, I do. So let me just do it very carefully. I just removed the import also. So far, so good. Let's check our app route.ts file, where we have the tabs route showing up, and this is fine. But here the error is not yet rectified. Even if I reload it, okay, still I'm getting the home screen, which is not good at all. So there is slight issue with our Ionic serve, as it is showing some error, and in this particular case you have to stop and run it again. Then only it's going to work. So whenever you create a new page, it's going to create some problems most of the time. So that is why, let me just stop it for the time being and create all the other pages that we need within our tabs. So for the tabs, at first I'm going to show you the design part. Then we are going to create the new pages that we need inside the tabs. So let's do one step at a time. I need Ion tab button within my Ion tab bar. So I'll be needing actually 4 buttons. Now the first button will be for the home screen, where I will have an Ion icon, in which I'm going to have the icon by default to be home outline. And I don't want any name or label, so I'll just remove it. And it's going to navigate to the home route, which we do not have as of now. So if I run it up, let's see what do we get. I'll run it and remove it. Let me just inspect. And if I reload now, I won't see anything. Why? Can you guess? Well, actually, the problem is that I have given an Ion icon, but it is not registered anywhere. Since it is not registered, it is not going to show up properly. Now there is one more issue which is coming up. Okay, this warning for Ion tab. All right. There is nothing called Ion tabs, so I removed. This one also I'll remove it. And in my constructor, I'm going to use add icons. There you go. Import it. Within this, I have to pass all the icons which I'm using in this particular page, like the home outline, and I need to import it. So see, I'm not getting a suggestion. For the first time when you're doing, you don't get mostly the suggestions, which I hope they rectify in near future. Now I have to pass it manually, home outline from Ion icons / icons. If you do that up, it will be imported and you will be able to see the design. There you go. You can see the home icon showing up, home outline actually. In the same way, what am I going to do? I'll create 3 more tab buttons with some spacing so that it is easily visible. The last one will be the account page, where the icon will be person outline. And how am I getting all this? Well, let me just show you one thing. I'm going to show you the ionicons.com, where we will see all the icons. See, I'll just search for person and you can just check it here. These are the icons that I get. So this is the icon which I want to use, person outline. That's what I'm passing here. You can search all the icons. By default, there are lots of icons that are available which you can definitely use and try it in your application. So by default in our Ionic application, Ion icons is used and you can do it in this particular way which I'm working with. Now let me search one more. I'll search for calendar. This is the one which I want to use. So calendar outline. Now this is going to be our third one. So calendar outline, and home will be first. What will be the second one? According to the design which we have seen, it should be people. Let me just check it here. People. This is the one. People outline. There you go. I'll just pass people, spelling corrected. And the route, let me just pass here members. So this tab will show the gym members. This will be the dashboard or the home screen. Then the third one will be the calendar, or like you can say daily routine or something like that. For the time being, let me just pass here stats. Okay. And finally, the last one will be the account screen, where you will have your settings or your profile, whatever you need there, you can pass it. We are mainly going to work with member screen and the member details screen. Now let's check it in our Ionic application. How does it show up? This is the one that we can look into. And what about the icon? See, I have not passed the other icons in my tabspace.ts file, and it is taking automatically. This also happens, which is quite great, because if you have to pass icons manually, it is little troublesome. But it doesn't work in a similar manner in your components if you are passing the Ionic tags or the components, which used to work earlier. But anyways, never mind. Let's move ahead. The next thing which I'm going to work with is to create the pages for all these routes, so that if I click on any tab, at least it should show up something. Okay. For which, let me create the pages, Ionic G page, within the pages folder, within the tabs folder. I'll create a page called home. Similarly, I'll create a page called members. The next one will be, let's say, stats. Well, in the dashboard also you can pass stats, but this is like some more detailed stats, or you can even pass your routines. Whatever you need, you can pass it down in the stats. I'm just creating a page called stats. You can change as per your requirement, okay? Because we are not going to work with that, so I'm not focusing on that part as of now. The last one will be the account screen. All of them are created. It's time to place it properly into our app routes. So in the app routes, you can see lot many pages are available and their routes are being passed within our app routes or TS file. Now, how to show it here? On click of any tab button. So if I click it now, I cannot see anything. So what should I be doing? Well, basically nothing much. I have to at first cut all of it and pass it as a children of the tabs page. In this particular way, I'll make it a children and pass all the routes within that. Once that is done, I will also pass a default route. By default, which children will be called at first. And it will be done in the similar manner which we have applied here. So if no other route is being passed, I will call slash tabs slash, is it home or members? Well, I'm going to call members in my case because I need to work only with the members as of now. So you can see the members one is selected by default. This is what happens if we are working with the children and passing a default route. And you can see here also, just check the route. So slash tabs slash members. If I just enlarge it, you will be able to see everything properly. This is what we are doing. So far, so good. You can even break it down in a different route file, which you can place it here. But I prefer to do this in my app.route.ts file only as of now because we are not working with lots of routes so that it will be troublesome for us to understand. As of now, it's fine. If you want, definitely you can create a new route file. And I've shown this in many videos. In my previous videos, you can simply check it out. I'm still not happy with the design part. Why? I want the icon to not show the outline, but actually the solid part. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, whenever I select any route or any tab, I don't want to show the outline. I just want to show, let's say if I'm selecting home, I just want to show the icon as home. Okay, not the home outline, because home outline, you see the hollow part. If I just show you here, let's say this is members, correct? Where the icon is people outline. What about the field? I want the field one, where everything is filled up. That's what I want to use. And for that, I have to remove the outline. How can I do that? In order to work with that, I need to know which is the selected tab, for which I'll be passing an identifier, let's say called hashtag tabs. Along with that, I will also pass an event, which is ion tabs did change, where let me pass a function, let me call it get current tab, and it will trigger an event in this particular way. Now this function I have to create in my tabs.page.ts file. Let me do it after ng on init. So it will trigger an event which can be of type any, or if I pass ion tabs, will it take it or not? Let's check it out. So let me try to log it out and see what is the value that is coming up here. How will I check it? Okay, there is still some error which is popping up. Why? Okay, argument of type, okay, within which I'll get an object and tab of type string. That's what I'm going to get. It is not assignable to parameter of type ion tabs. Alright, so I will not be assigning it if that's the case. Instead, I can simply pass, either I can pass any or I can pass tab of type string. That's what I can do. Basically, it's an object which will hold tab. So which means it will have tab within it. Let's check the value of it. So see how easy it becomes if you get proper errors and everything is showing up. Look at this. By default, this is selected and the tab name is members, which is the route name. If I click on home, then stats, and finally account. That's what I'm getting. So I'm getting the names. I can play around with the names now. How will I do that? Let me create a signal function. Let me call it current tab. equals to signal, which will be of type string. Initially, let me pass null. Or should I pass a default value? Let me call it members. Okay, that would be great. Now, whenever it's changing, I'm going to set my current tab to this particular value, event dot tab. That's it. Now, how will I show this particular value in my HTML and change this out? This is quite interesting to do. So, let me check it here. By using this bracket, I can read the variables also. And I have passed this as a string now. So, I'm going to check if current tab function, that's how it's denoted, equals to if the value of it is home, then I'm going to call the icon home. Otherwise, I'm going to call home outline. So this is how I'm using the ternary operator to change my icon. But it will not show up if it is selected. Let's say if I select home, look at this. This is not getting selected or not getting changed because we do not have the home icon passed in our TS file. Let me just pass it here and check it now. I have to import it, import it. So now you can see we can have the home icon instead of the home outline to the ones that is selected. That's great, right? Let's achieve the same result for the other icons. And for doing so, let me just copy this part and replace this part. So this will be people and the route name will be, if it is, members. All right. Next one will be calendar outline. So let me copy up till here and we'll replace this particular part in the calendar outline. Well, you can just work on it as per your requirements. So I'm going to pass it quickly. Done. Last but not the least. All right, this is also done. The only thing that is left is to pass proper icons everywhere. So the icons that I will be needing is people, person, lastly the calendar. All of them are ready. If you click on any one, see, it's working. But there is, I think, one slight issue which I'm facing here is, okay, this should not be stats, this should be account. My bad. It will be fine because it was changing, right? Now it will show up properly. Great. I'm loving it. So the tab screen is ready. It's time to work with the member screen. Now in the member screen, how am I going to start? First of all, let me get rid of the unnecessary code which we have here because we don't need this kind of a design that is showing up for iOS mainly. So which is removed now and nothing in the CSS, which is great. So in the IN title, I'll be having members. What else I'll be having? Well, first of all, the color of it will be secondary color. And why the design is not showing up? Is there any error? Well, I don't see any error here, but the changes are not getting reflected. So I'm facing this problem again and again. I don't understand why this should not happen. But anyways, let me just run it again to see the latest changes. I'm a little annoyed with this problem, but anyways, can't help it out as of now. Let's get ahead. So I need few more things. First of all, I need the iron menu button. It will be coming up on the start. So I'll be passing it within my iron buttons itself. Slot will be start where I will have the iron menu button. So let me just import it. No, it's not getting imported. Well, actually, in order to use iron menu button, you also have to do one more thing. That is, you have to have iron menu within your app.component.html, which is not present as of now. So it's not going to show up even if I pass it. It's better to pass an icon for the time being, which will be great. So an icon will be passed within an iron button. So I'm going to use iron button here where I'll pass an iron icon. Name will be, well, I'll just check the name and slot will be icon only so that it will only show the icon which will be bigger. Otherwise, it's going to keep the space for any kind of a text. By passing it up, you are saying that this button will only hold the icon, not the text. And that's why this icon will be bigger. Now in the iron icons, let me search for, I think it was list probably, not exactly, not the list. I have to just search here. Well, this is the one. This is menu. So I need menu. Is it outline? Let's check it out. I think the outline one is fine. So menu outline, I'm going to pass it here. Menu outline. That's fine. Will it show up? Let's check it out. Look at this. It's not showing up. Why? Well, there is a reason for that and you already know about it. The reason is pretty simple. If you go to the TS file and check it here, a lot many extra stuff is already present, but the one that we need is add icons, which is not present. Since this is a page, so I'm going to pass it here itself. So add, well, no, it's not add. What was the name? Menu outline. This is the one, imported. Now everything will be sorted, and those things which are not needed, I'm simply going to remove it, use it whenever required. So far so good. And here by default, standalone is set to true, which is not needed in the latest version. By default, it is standalone to true. I don't understand why this is coming up. In your case, probably it should not come up. Why am I getting this? Even I don't understand. Anyways, I've removed it. Even if you pass it, still it's fine. But in the latest version, you don't have to. And in some versions, it is removed. Some version, it is not removed. I don't understand what's going on. But I have the latest version, so I don't need to worry about anything. Now also everything will work as expected. You can just check it out. See, there is no problem at all we are facing. If I just show you here, no errors as such. Okay, great. Everything is good to go. Now let's get back to our HTML file of the member screen. And we do see the menu icon here. Similarly, I will have two icons on the right side, or to be precise, on the end part. So slot will be end. And which are the icons which I have to use this time? Let me just check it here for the notification, which will be the second one. So notification, this is the one which I need. So I've copied it. Or actually, I just see the name. Let me pass it here directly. Notifications. And I need another button, which will be the add circle possibly. Let me just check that also. Add. This is the one. Add circle. Great. Let me put it after this. Add circle. All right. Let's check it out. So both of them are not imported automatically, so I have to do it manually here. Let's do it for notifications and then add circle. Once that is done, we will be able to see the icons, which is great. Let's get back to our HTML file. Now I'll just change the color for the add circle, which should be the primary color. That's looking nice. Now why this is being passed? Let's say you have some notification related to the members. You can click on that and just check for all the members at once. Similarly, you can add new members. Well, there will be a large form which you have to fill, because for gym membership, definitely you have a bigger form. So you have to show all that part when you click on this particular plus button. All right. So that's what you can do here. And in the menu, you can have certain things which is related to the members, or throughout the application, you can have the same iron menu button. That's what you can do. So this is the agenda behind passing this particular icons. Now the next thing which I will work with is actually the header only, but in another toolbar. And how will I do that? Well, let me just pass another toolbar at first, and the color will be same, secondary, which will be used for the search bar. But there is one thing, you can see a line here, which is actually the whitish color. Between the two iron toolbar, there is a white color line which is coming up. You cannot remove it directly. What you have to do is, let me just show you. I'll just go to the member page.scss file and work on the iron header part, passing a background color to it to be the secondary color only. So iron color secondary. Spelling is wrong. Let me correct it. It will be fine. Just check it now. The line is gone. Why? Because the header was having by default the white color. Okay, whichever is the color for this particular background, it is the same for the iron header by default. Probably because sometimes it is light for iOS. Anyways, that's not the question. The point is, between the two iron toolbar, that line is nothing but the spacing, slight spacing between the toolbars. That's why the color was different, and it is sorted now, since the header color is also same. Great, we have sorted this. It's time to pass an iron search bar within this, and I have to import it. It is not getting imported automatically. So like I said, some of them you have to pass it manually. So copy it and place it here too. Once that is done, everything will be fine and you will be able to see the search bar, which is great. This is for iOS, and for Android, well, if I select, just check it out. This is the one that is coming up. But I want something universal, right? So how do I change it? Now, what changes do I need to make to this iron search bar? mostly little bit, not much. So I'll pass a class to it. And actually, the interesting thing is that if you work with this particular class in your members.sss file, this is a page and this is the sss file. If you work on that, some of the properties might not work as expected. Let me just show you. I'll pass some of the properties and you will see maybe it's not going to work as expected. Just check it out. There is no change at all, right? Which is not good at all. Let's say if I give border radius to be 20 pixels, actually it's changing. So it is working. And let me just check if everything is working fine or not. I'm not sure. Let me pass here color to be iron color dark. Okay, great. It's working. How about the font size if I increase it to 1 rem? Well, this is not working, I suppose. Let me change it back. Oh, this is not getting impacted. So like I said, some of the properties will work, some of them don't. So what can I do is, let me just cut all of it. Since I passed the class name, so it will be easier for me to track it down. I'll pass everything in global.scss file, where it's going to work as expected. See, the font size is also changed. So this particular classes don't work directly within our iron search bar. If you pass it anywhere within the sub pages or even the root page also, you have to pass all these things in your global.scss file. So this is must for you to remember. All right. So mostly I have changed everything and it's going to be applied for both the devices. That means Android and iOS. Let's check it out. Let me just check it for Android device. All right. This is not looking fine. Well, actually, the background color is the problem along with the colors. So I have to work on that. Now just check this out. You are able to see the background color. How? If I was passing the dark color, it was not showing up. But as soon as I change the color to the earlier one which I passed, it works. And it works great. So in iOS, this is working. But for Android devices, you have to pass a proper color. The dark one will make it much darker, which is not applicable. And for the text, even you cannot see the text here, for which actually I have to change the color. Let me pass iron color, not medium. Let me pass light color here. Let's check it out. The light color. I think it's fine if I pass the light color. Okay. If you want a different color, definitely you can try it out. Let's check out the same in our iOS devices, which is okay. It is having the earlier color, which is fine. So possibly it's not taking the light color, but at least it is showing up. That's what we need. And I need this kind of a color only. So I'm not going to play around much with it. Now, after this part is done, we have to move on and work with the filters. So in order to design the filter, I need to pass it within the toolbar itself as it is not going to be scrolled and you can change it as per your requirement because only the data within it will be changing. Only the members list will be scrolling. The rest of the part at the top will be static. Now I will pass an iron row here in which I am going to work with the iron column. There should be a hyphen and then I will pass an iron select. Okay. So I just copied it from the documentation of Ionic framework. Now what will be the label for the first one? Let's say all packages and I don't need any placeholder here. Also, I will change the text which I have passed in the iron search bar. So how do I change it? I have to simply pass here the placeholder. So it's gonna be search name slash mobile number. And why it is not getting imported automatically? Well, that's a problem. Let's fix it up. I'll just close all the unnecessary stuff and import it one by one. Let's go for iron row, then iron column. After that, I'm going to use iron select. Then I've also used iron select option. So this four, I have to pass it within the imports. Let me do it here. Now the error will go away and you can see all packages, which is fine. But I'm going to fix the size of it. Let me have size to be 4. Let's see how it looks like now, which is great. Also, I need to change the background color of it. So for the iron column, how do I do that? I cannot pass color to be light. Let's try it out. I don't think it's going to work. So if that doesn't work, we have to do it into our SCSS file. So see, you have to understand how exactly you are going to proceed ahead with the designing part. Each and every part you need to try it out or visualize at first how it can be done. So within the iron row, I'll work with the iron column. That's a benefit of SCSS. You can work with the hierarchy. And for each iron column, I'm going to pass the background to be having the light color. So iron color light. Let's check it out, which is great. How about the hyphen background? Is there any default that is available? No, that is not available. If that is not available, I also need to pass the text color, which I can do it in this particular way. So variable hyphen iron color light, and I'll pass the contrast of it. So contrast is probably for the text. Now the text is dark color, which is great. I need to change here some things, which will be, I don't need any label for this iron select. Okay, I actually need directly the value. So value will be all packages which will be selected by default. So all, let me pass the same name only as the value here. Just check this out. This is what I have done. And now everything will show up properly. Let me have monthly packages or whatever you want. All right. So let me just pass two options only. You can have more options as per your requirement. This is just the designing which I'm trying to show you, and that's going to work. Now there is one thing which I need to show you, which is related to this design part, which is if I click on it, you see, this is what is showing up, but I don't want that kind of a design. In order to change that, I'll pass interface to be popover. So it will show me the popover design. Let me just show you how exactly it works. If I click on it now, just check this out. How beautiful it looks like, isn't it? Which is fine. Now I need proper spacing because I need to align all the things within my iron column at the center. To do so, I have to pass here display flex, align items to be at the center, and justify all the content to the center. Now, how do we bring it to the almost at the center? Well, let me just check it here. First of all, am I getting any error here? For the time being, no errors, but actually I'll be getting one if I try to click on it, possibly. Yes, I do get an error. And how do I solve this? Well, that's just a warning thing, which is not impacting our design part or anything, but it is not coming to the center. And I have removed display flex and everything, whichever I passed here. That won't work. Instead of that, let me pass few things here, which is related to iron label, area label, which I have given any name. Then I have to pass label to be empty also, because if I pass it up there, it will take some space here, which is fine. Then it is almost at the center, the text part. Now, if you don't pass justify to be start, what will happen? Well, look at this. It will be tilting towards the end part, and as soon as I pass justify start, just check this out, it will move little bit towards the left side, okay, towards the starting position. That is why you can work around with it. So I'm happy with this particular stuff. Let's check it out. If I click on it, do I get error again? Yes, I do get this error. It is not gone. So I think I can get rid of this area label, which is not needed, not mandatory. And I think this is fine. Let's move ahead and work with the other iron select. So as this is the design part, I'm not making it dynamic. Let me copy the same iron column and we'll paste it 2 more times in this particular way. All right, now I need some spacing between all of it, for which I'll go to the CSS, and for each iron column, I'm going to pass some padding here. So padding, let's say 5 pixel padding everywhere. Well, padding is not working possibly. What about the margin? Okay, margin is too much. Now, in order to fix the design, I have made slight changes. Basically, to the iron row, I have given some margin, nothing to the top because there was already some margin at the top. So I wanted to pass on left and right, and on the bottom, I have given 15 pixels as it should be similar to the one that we have at the top. All right, which is looking nice. Then I've given a border radius to my iron column, and this is not needed. So I'll just remove it. Okay, so this is the final UI as of now. Just wait, I need to make slight more changes, so don't need to worry. Then in the HTML, what have I done? First of all, I have passed iron no padding horizontal, which I don't need, I think. So I'll just remove it from everywhere. Size is 4, and I have changed the options here in all of them. So this is having packages, this is having all types of different kinds, and the last one will be having batches. Okay, so you can change accordingly as per your requirement. Let me get rid of it. Great. Still, our design is not coming as expected. Now, how do I solve this problem? Well, I have a solution for it. Basically, what am I going to do is, I'm going to wrap this ion select within a div. Let me pass a div here in which I'm going to move this ion select in this particular way. Let's do the same for the other two ion columns. I'm going to move this ion select to. Finally, the last one which I need to move. Alright, this is also done. After this is done, I'll go to my SCSS and change few stuff. Basically, within my ion column, I have the div and I'm going to work on that particular div instead of directly working with the ion column. And what I will do, I'll move the background, the color and everything within my div. Let's check it now. Just look at it. We have the same design as we were expecting, right? That is what happens if we are working in this particular way, because by default, there is some padding for the ion column that is applied now and everything is centered up as expected. So you have to just play around with the stuff to get the design which you are expecting. I think 5 pixel is good, the border radius. So far so good. We have achieved the header part. It is same as expected and you can type anything you want. Alright. Now the next thing we need to work around is the members list. Let's start working with that. Now in my ion content, I'll start working by passing some padding by default and the background color to be medium, okay, which I can directly pass on the ion item. So that is the default which I want. And after that, within the ion item, I'm going to pass an ion list where I will pass an ion item divider in this particular way. Now you must be wondering how this is coming up. Well, let me just explain you because this is very simple. If I just show you the code, you will understand it very easily. But I want to show you the concept behind it. See, we need some spacing, that is why I have given padding throughout the content body. And I want the mode to be iOS here in my ion item divider, which is this particular one. So why am I using ion item divider is basically we have the option of passing slot end. When I pass slot end, the thing which I want to move towards the end part can be done very easily with this, which cannot be achieved with the help of ion list header if you're wondering why am I not using that. So I have the heading also along with some button or whatever you need, you can have it here. That's what we have done. And I have also applied some CSS to it, which is quite simple. On this div, which we have, I am passing font size to be small, which is there by default. You can simply select it and font weight to be normal. So this is applied on this particular div because I want it smaller and not that bold. This is the design which I have applied to get this particular result. Now, there are a few more things which we need to work on, but I'm quite sure you are getting the stuff because this is not very hard. Now, you must be wondering why am I giving mode to be iOS? Okay, let me just show you. Without mode to be iOS, I'll just enlarge it and go to any Android device. Okay, I've reloaded it. Now, let's just check it out. What do I have here? I have some possibly padding or something. Let's check it out. What is it? Yes, this is padding. Green color is padding. So I have some padding by default. I have to get rid of it. In order to get rid of that part, what I have to do is ion item divider. I'll just get to this and pass a class ion no padding. If I do so, well, nothing is removed, which is not good. Well, I think this padding is for ion list or ion item divider. Let me just get that straight. This is for ion list. All right, all right. So basically, I need to make the ion list background to be transparent. Then only it's going to work. But before that, what we were looking at is this particular mode. If I get rid of it, let's check now the mode in Android device. Look at this. This is not pretty bad. I'm okay with this particular part. But you have to play around with the title here because the design that we have applied is not working as expected. Okay. And that is not the case if we apply mode to be iOS. So you have to be very, very careful where exactly you need the changes. So that is why I will keep mode to be iOS and I'm going to make the ion list background to be transparent so that I don't see the whitish color. This is how we do it, transparent. Just check it now. See, it is gone. This is how we shuffle with the design part. And I'm going to change this all packages because I have just copied the ion select from here and passed it here. Now just check this particular part. You have very less margin top. Now the question comes, how do we fix that spacing? Let's work on that part now. I'll just scroll towards the top. This is my iron row. What if I pass mode to be iOS? Well, that won't be necessary. Everywhere we should not give that. So I'll just get rid of it just to show you I'm doing that. Basically, it's related to our iron search bar. Okay. Now, how do I differ it? Basically, what am I going to do is I'm going to change this up for Android and iOS separately. To do so, after passing this iron header, I just need to change for material design, that is MD. I'll work with the iron header where we have the toolbar. Okay. Now within the toolbar, we have the iron row in which I don't want to pass this particular margin. So iron row, then pass this margin, which I'm going to change to 10 pixels, possibly on all sides, or at the top, let's give 5 pixels and check it out whether it works or not. So I think it is not getting applied. What if I cut it off and remove this iron header part? Now you see it is working. So sometimes if you pass iron header within this particular thing, it doesn't work. So all these things you will come to know when you practice this up. All right. Now you see the spacing is great for our Android design too. And if I change it to iOS, you will see the earlier design. Let me just show you. Let's reload it and you see the earlier design now. Great. If I just check it out, this is the iron row and we have 0, 10 pixels, 15 pixel and 10 pixel, which is great. That's what we need, isn't it? So far, everything is working as expected. Even if you want, definitely you can change this up to, let's say, 10 pixels, and which is, I think, appropriate. You should not give much more spacing. So I think I just need to change margin top here. Rest of the things I can keep it as expected. So let me just get rid of all of it. Just margin top is needed for our Android design. Let me just check it once again. Look at this now. Everything is looking great and we have proper margins everywhere. That's how you have to check for different devices. Let me pop it out once again. If you don't do that, you won't be able to change the devices again and again from here. I think there is some issue here. That is why I'm doing in that particular manner. Anyways, let's move ahead and design our list. But before working with that, one last thing is left. I have to change it to active, and the second option, let me keep it as inactive, which are the active inactive members. We will have the list filter based on that too. All right, there you go. And I also need to change the background color to it of it, for which this is my border radius and background color, also the text color. These three things I have to pass in two places. And to do so, well, actually the iron select font size also I can change directly from here itself. So instead of passing it here, let me just cut it up, remove it, and in fact I'm going to remove this part too. All right, not needed. I'm going to create a class for this particular stuff and I'm going to name it as select div. All right, let me copy it and get back to my HTML. We'll pass it to each and every div class select div. All right, so look at this, it is working and you can do the same at the top too. So let me pass the same class everywhere. All right, this is done. In all the places I passed it and we get the same design once again. One final thing I just need to apply, and let me call a different class here. Name it as, let's say, active, or to be precise, it should be active filter. Then I'm going to make slight changes into this particular class, and that will be related to the padding. I'm going to remove all the unnecessary padding that we have. So within this class, I can work around on this sizing. I don't want this to be that much bigger. All right. And also one more thing I'll do here is I'll pass the font weight to be normal. Okay. Or you can have around 500 will be fine. Little bold, not much. Now, in order to redesign it up or to actually reduce the height of it, I have to work around with the height here within the div. If I reduce the height of this particular div, this will also get reduced. And then I have to center up everything. Let's say, for example, if I give height to be 1VH, you will see that it will change. Okay, where am I passing it? Where did I pass it? Okay, I think I have passed it in wrong place. Active filter should be passed in this particular place. Active filter. Now it will be applied. Just check this out. This is working. So let's try with a height of 3 VH, and I'm going to center up everything in this particular way. Now the content will be centered up properly. This is how we can work around with the data here. And similarly, if you want to reduce the height of this particular div also, definitely you can try it out. I'm happy with this design. Now we can move ahead finally to our members list. And in order to do so, I have to prepare a list of data. But before that, I need to prepare the design part. So to design it up, let me create a component and design it there. For doing so, I'll create a component, Ionic GC, C for component, within a components folder which I'm going to create. And then the name will be, let's say, member. Hit enter to create it. This will be created in a new folder, which is great. Now here I'm going to design it up as per our requirement. And in order to call it into our members page, I have to import it. So let's try it directly. If I try to import it in this particular way, will it get imported? Yes, it is getting imported. Does it work or not? We will check it out. But for the time being, I'm going to run a loop member of, let me pass an array 1 to anything, just an array of 5 elements, and it will be tracked by, let's say, index. Okay, this is a for loop which I have prepared, and I'm going to pass the members within that, each member. So this is ready, but we do not have anything here. Let me just try to pass a p tag to see if it is showing up or not. Just check this out. It is working. Now we can smoothly design it up. So to design it up, I'm going to start off with the component only. Let's work with this particular component now. And I'm going to clear up all the other screens or the files so that it gets very easy for us to navigate to particular files with which we are working currently. To start off, I'm going to work with an ion card. Now here, things are not getting imported automatically. For doing so, I have to get to this particular component, which is a standalone component by default. What I have to do is, I have to pass the imports, need to pass ion card, and the suggestion will not come up if you even try it. Just check this out. No suggestion is coming up. That means you have to import it manually. So import ion card from at ionic/angular/standalone. That's what you have to do. Once that is done, the error will go away and you will be able to see the design if we pass something. Now within our ion card, I'm going to start off with an ion item actually, where there will be no lines, or should I have lines? Well, actually I don't need, so let me just remove it. And this one will also not get imported automatically. This is troublesome in our component. What if I pass standalone to be true? Will it work? Let's try it. There is no harm in trying. What if I hover on it? Yes, now it's working. Okay. So by default, standalone to true is not there. Okay. And we don't get any warning or something like that. But in the latest version, we don't need to pass it. If you don't pass it, there is issue with importing. So the Ionic team needs to fix this. All right. Hopefully it will be done in the coming versions. But as of now, this is a problem. Let me just keep it as the same and work around with it, because I don't want to take the headache of importing it manually again and again. Within our ion item, I just need to pass ion thumbnail, where I will have an image. I have to pass some source file to it. For the time being, I do not have any image, so what should I do? I have a favicon.png. Let me pass that for the time being. So assets slash icon slash favicon.png. We will be able to see that, but this iron thumbnail, I need to import it manually. So the iron thumbnail creates a problem most of the time. It does not get imported automatically ever. I faced this issue earlier also with iron thumbnail. I do not know why they don't fix it. Hopefully they are aware of it. Alright, this is done. We have worked with the iron thumbnail to show my image. I'm going to work around with this styling part later on. For the time being, let's have all this stuff. So within the iron label, what am I going to have? Let me pass Nikhil Agarwal. Then I'm going to have a p tag, basically to pass the other information. See, within the iron label, we pass mostly the title or whatever name or something, whatever you have to pass it here. Then we will have some other information within the iron label. If you pass outside the iron label, that won't work within an iron item. So That is what you have to take care of. So within the P tag, let me pass the contact number. So let's say +91 India's number 66666, any number I'm just passing 00000. Okay. So look at this. We can see some design that's looking nice. The alignment and everything, don't worry, we are going to fix it up once this is completed. One more thing I need to do is this thumbnail should be slotted towards the start in Ion item. That is why we are doing this, because we get default spacing and everything, which makes Ion item quite great to work with. What else do we need? We also need a button, Ion button, slot to be end, fill to be clear. And what exactly I need here is an Ion icon. The slot will be icon only because I just need to pass the icon here. And what will be the name? Well, I'm going to show you which icon I need to pass, and we will search that up within our Ion icons, which is going to be chevron. This is the one I need. Chevron forward circle. Chevron forward circle. That's what I need. Now this will not come up automatically, as you already know that we have to import it, right? So I'm not going to import it within this component. Actually, I'm going to use it within the pages where I'm passing it. Otherwise, it will be very confusing where exactly I'm passing all of it. So mostly I prefer to pass all the icons within the pages where it is needed, because the components will be used within the pages. That is why we can work around with that. So even if you use this up with your PWA, you won't find a problem in the browser. So chevron forward, it's not like that, forward circle, import it. Now you will be able to see the icon and that's showing up. I need to change the color, also the size of it, because it's looking quite small and that's not what I want. I want the size of it to be large, not in this way. Size large. Well, that's not working. Why? I'll check it out, don't need to worry. But for the time being, let me change the color of it to be dark. So the size is not working. Let me go to the SCSS file and work on my Ion icon. We'll change the font size here. Let me pass 2 rem and check it out. Okay, that's too big actually. I don't want that big. 1 rem will be fine. No, 1 rem is too small. Let's get to the between. 1.5 rem. I think this is better. Alright. Now along with that, I also need to work with the Ion card because I need a border with a specific color. So let me just try with this hyphen border of 1 pixel solid, and the color will be the primary color that we have. Let's try it, whether it works or not, because mostly we don't remember exactly sometimes that whether this is the custom CSS property for Ion card or not. So if it is not, then I'll change it once again, and along with that I will fix the border. I think border radius is there by default. So you can check it in this particular way. Let me keep it 10 pixels by default. Great. I think that's working. I'm happy with that. Since we have come here, so it's time to design the other stuff that we need to work with, which is Ion thumbnail. That's not looking great. So always it's better to change the height and width of Ion thumbnail as per your requirement. So let me give 4 rem width and height also to be same as 4 rem. So I fixed it. After fixing it up, I will also change the background color for this Ion thumbnail. So I'll give a background to the Ion thumbnail of which color should I use? Ion color. I think medium color will be fine. Yeah, it's visible. So if you do not have a proper picture, then definitely this is going to show up. Now one more thing I will do, I'll also pass the border radius to be, let's say, 8 pixel. Great. You can increase it to 10 pixel also if you want. I think I'm happy with the 10 pixel one. Similarly, if you have the image taking up the full size, because we are going to fix the height and width for the image to have the 100% width and height. That's what I'm doing. So 100% size will be taken here along with a border radius of same as the one that we have passed earlier. You can even pass it all together also if you want to, but I'm happy with that. Now the last thing which I need is object fit. Well, we don't need that because in Ion thumbnail it's already been taken. So let's skip that part. Now the Ion thumbnail is designed properly. We are happy with that. For the Ion card, I need some padding at the bottom and the top. So what am I going to do? For the Ion item, let me pass a class iron margin top. Actually, it's quite big. I don't want that big. So let's get rid of it. And let me pass this whole iron item because we will be having a lot other stuff. So I'm going to wrap it up within a div in this particular way. To this div, I'm going to pass some margin. Let's work on that. This whole stuff is within iron item. Let me pass everything in a proper way so that it's very easy to understand. And everything is passed or wrapped up within a div in this particular way. Now this div will have some margin. Margin, let's say 1 VH on top and bottom, which is nice. On the left and right, I'm not passing any margin as of now because for the iron item, there is a margin by default which is given. So I don't want to touch that. If you want, definitely you can reduce the margin. Let me give 0.5 VH. And if you don't want this much of spacing for the iron item, definitely you can reduce that too. Like you can reduce the padding start to have how much? 0. Will that be fine? Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. I will also remove inner padding end to be 0. So once that is done, if I pass margin on all sides, it will be applied nicely. Alright, now it's looking great. Now to fix the spacing properly, let me just play around with it. I'm into the members page HTML file and I'm going to start off with the iron list, to which let me pass a margin of how much will be fine. I think I should pass 1 VH of margin on all sides. Alright, this is fine. This is aligned properly. This is not aligned because it has to move towards the end part. If you just check this particular thing, if I just try it now, look at this. Almost touching, right? Which is okay to me. If you want, definitely you can reduce it a bit. Let's try with 0.8, which is much more aligned. So let me keep 0.8. And what about this iron card? We have some default margin for our iron card. So I need to change it, for which I'll get to the member component.css and try working with it. Let me pass here a margin of how much should be fine. What about 0.5 VH? Will it look nice? Okay, on top and bottom, it's quite less. How about on the left and right, it's almost pretty good. So this one I can keep the same, or I can reduce it a bit more of to be 1 VH of margin. Okay, I just passed it in wrong place. This one I have to change to 1 VH, and this is possibly better. Okay, let's keep it. So 1 VH is fine, but on the top and bottom I can increase. So let me pass 2 VH on top and bottom. This is better. One last thing I want to do is for the iron item divider, let me pass some margin bottom. So iron margin bottom, yes, we do get that. But actually it's too much of a spacing, which is not looking that great. So I've removed it, and now in the SCSS file, I'm going to change that up. Let's work on it once again. Iron item divider to pass a margin bottom of possibly 1 VH will be fine. No, it's quite a lot. 0.5 VH will be better. I think I'm okay with that. This is fixed. Let's move to the other part, which is the component. We need to work around with this label and p tag. Let's do it quickly. We are spending a lot of time in understanding how actually the designs should be approached. That is the agenda of this particular video, and I'm taking quite a lot of time to actually explain you what is my approach. All right. Now in our iron item, we also have iron label, for which I can give the font size to be, let me pass large to be the font size, and font weight I can pass it as bold. Okay, looking nice. The p tag that we have within that will be having a font size of possibly medium. Medium will be nice, I think. No, medium is quite big. I think I should pass medium to my iron label and small to my p tag. This is better. The font weight will be changed to 500, and I need some margin top of around 5 pixel will be better. That looks good to me. Okay. Now I also need to change the color of it, for which it is very simple to do that. I just need to wrap this particular thing within an iron text where we can pass the color directly. So let me pass the color here to be the dark color, and it will get changed. Just check this out. So far everything looks fine. You can just break it down. I think this way it's much more visible. Anyways, that's just a designing thing which I've done. Let's move ahead to the other things which we need at the bottom, for which I will get out of the iron item and work with an iron row. Now within this iron row, I will have iron column. I'll be needing 3 iron columns. So let me pass size to be 4 for the first iron column, in which I will have a div where I'm going to align everything to center up. So what am I going to center? I'm going to have an iron label at first. Let's say it reads plan expiry, which the gym management really wants to know at the first place. So iron label color will be dark, after which I will pass a p tag, and within an iron text, actually I need to change the color of it. That is why I'm passing iron text, where I can pass color to be dark. Within the iron text, I need to pass a value of it. So let me just say 01 June, and let's say it will be 2025 or 2026, whichever you want to pass. So the design is coming up. Similarly, I'm going to design 2 more iron columns in similar fashion. So let me just paste it around. Okay. Need to change the data. The second one will be for days remaining. So let's say any number of days, I'm just passing it up. Then the last one will be for the due amount. So let's say that's going to be $250. So any dummy data we have prepared here. Now to align it properly, what I'll do, at first I should align everything to start instead of at the center. So let me change it to start everywhere. So all of them is changed to start now, which is looking nice. Then how will I approach this particular design? Because this is iron row, alright. And I need to move all the designing part towards this particular stuff. Means this part should be empty. Okay. I cannot do it with offset. If I pass offset and reduce the iron icon sizing, then I don't think it's going to work properly. Alright. So I have to keep the same size, but I have to reduce the width of the iron row. How can I do that? Well, I have to work around with the CSS of it. This is iron item. After working with the iron item, I'm going to start work with the iron row. So this is my design for the iron row, which I have already prepared. Now I have reduced the width to be 85%. After reducing it to 85%, this is how it's going to look like. Let me just get rid of all the stuff which I have applied, and I'm going to show you one by one. This is what is happening. Now, I don't want to center it up. That is why I'm not passing margin to be auto, but I want to float it towards the end part, means inline end. That is why floating inline end will move it towards the end part. Once that is done, I'm working with the iron column. Within the div, we have the iron label and p tag, where I'm passing the font size and font weight for my p tag. That is what I have prepared here. Alright. So once that is done, this is how it's going to look like. But that is not it. I need to reduce the margin which is there by default for the p tag. If you just check it here, if I just hover on it, you will be able to see that this is iron text, and on the p tag we have lots of margin by default. To get rid of this margin, let me just try it here at first. So margin, how much should I give? Only at the top part I need some margin. Let's say 5 pixel and 0 everywhere. Alright, that's what I'm going to do, which looks great. If you want a bit more, definitely you can work on that. Or how about 10 pixel? It's too much. What about 8 pixels? I think 8 pixels will look much better. So I think we should keep this particular margin. So I'll copy it and pass it to my p tag here in this particular way, and this will be applied. So we do see a nice looking design here. Now here everything is looking good, but I need to change the margin along with the border radius. Also, this border is not looking that great. So what can I do is pretty simple. You can play around with lots of designing part. This is a div that we need to work around. So I'm going to change this default 0.5 VH margin to have applied to all sides. Instead of that, I'm going to change it to 0.8 VH on the top. On the right side, I'll give 0 margin, because by default we have some spacing here. Okay. And that is why I don't need to pass any extra margin. Then on the bottom part, same as we have done at the top, which is looking fine. Then on the left side, I need 1 VH margin, little bit bigger than whatever we have passed on the other sides. Now look at this. This is looking great. If you check it on other devices, let me just show you. Let me attach it, enlarge it, and then we can shift to the other design or devices very, very easily. Just check this out. This is looking good. Not bad, isn't it? Because we have default padding for each of our ion column. That will work for us. But the spacing is not that great. The design is breaking a bit. So we need to fix that for all the sizes. And for the time being, let me just do one thing. Let's try it in different iPhone devices. Here also, this is broken. Okay, so we need to reduce the size. Let's try to reduce it to, how much should I reduce it to? I think 0.7. That would be great. Alright, 0.65 is able to fit into the alignment which we are working with. Along with that, I also need to change this to 0.8 REM. Hopefully that will also get fixed, mostly in all the places except for the plan expiry, which I'm not loving it. So how do we fix it up now? Alright, I have reduced it to 0.75 REM. Or actually, if you don't want to do that, definitely you need to pass it in different. Instead of REM, you have to use something different. But I think I'm okay with that. The last thing which I need to work around is with the HTML part, because for the iron label, I'll change the color to be, which color should I give? I think medium color will be fine. Let's try it out. No, it's too much. I need little more than that. So instead of passing it here, let me just get rid of all the colors which I have applied for the iron label, and I'm going to change that up directly from my CSS. Alright, let me get rid of it and work around with it in my CSS. Color variable, any variable which I can use? I don't think so. Let me pass gray color or light gray color will be fine, I think. Let's try it out. Let me just try it out, whether it works or not. Okay, what if I remove it? It is applied. It can be a bit lighter, so which color should I apply to? Alright, after testing it, hyphen color doesn't work. This color will work and dark gray color is matching with it. So let me just pass it up. I'll copy it and let me pass it here. Also will make the font weight to be bold. Now it's time to try it out. Okay, as soon as I give font weight to be bold, well, you can see the design is breaking, which is not great. So to fix it up, I have changed the font size to be 0.6 REM and now it is fixed. Alright, probably for all the devices it is working now, I hope. Yes, it does. What about the other devices? How about the shorter devices? You can try in a lot of devices in this particular way. So mostly in most of the devices it's going to work. You can try it in different places. Let's go for the bigger one. And it's still visible. So you can just see, we have given font weight to be bold. That is why it is much more visible now, even with this smaller font size. That is the benefit of working with it. Alright, most of the design is already done. Just final touches we need to do. I'll change the margin at the top to be, let's say, 5 pixels, because I don't want lots of spacing here, which I was okay with earlier on, but now I think we should change it. Now the last thing, I don't want this border anywhere. This looks fine to me. And in fact, I can increase the border radius to 20 pixels. How does it looks like now? Is it applied or not? Not quite sure. No, it's not getting applied. I have to change it. Well, now it's getting applied. So let me try with 10 pixels now, which looks good, which means that I have to change it to, I have to remove the hyphen and change it to 10 pixels. So I didn't look at it earlier because by default in iOS you gave 8 pixel border radius. So it was not that visible to me at that point of time. We have almost designed it up. Almost means we have actually designed it up. So this part is done. It's scrollable and you can just see how good it become, how good it looks like. The next thing which we are going to work with is the data that we need to pass here. The basic design is prepared. It's time to add the mock data. Now to add the mock data, I have already prepared some of the things which I'm going to show you now. And it's pretty simple. Don't worry, you will understand. First of all, I have created an interface here, which you can see I have created an interfaces folder within which I have created a file called member.interface.ts. You can create it directly using the command. Let me just show you here. Ionic G interface. You can create a folder as per your requirement, like I want interfaces folder, then the interface name that will be, let's say, member. Okay, and this is going to create the interface for me. Now, after creating the interface, I have just renamed it to member.interface.ts file, which is quite easy for me to understand. That is why I've done it. It's not mandatory. Even if you keep member.ts file, still it's fine. Now, if I get inside it, this is the record which I have maintained here, where I'll have the member ID, name, photo, phone number, gender, address, batch time. See, I'm just assuming that the members belonging to a particular gym will have this kind of details, alright, like the training type and what package has been taken by a certain member. So all this information will be inserted for a particular member, like the one which I have done in this particular case, where I have created a new folder called mock data, in which a new file is created, members.mock.ts file, where I have kept my mock data. Now this is a pretty simple data. I have just created an array and passed it within a constant and exported it using the export keyword, with the help of which I can import it wherever I want. So this record can be used throughout the application. Now what do I have here? Well, I'm passing the ID, name, photo, everything whatever I have shown you in the interface, that is what I have done here, because I have given the type also as member interface array. Okay, and look at this data which I have prepared. So all of them belonging to different countries, cities, doesn't matter, because that's their actual address, but they are working out in a single gym. That's the agenda of having all these records. And I'm keeping everything in dollars as of now. You can change as per your requirement. So far so good. Now this data I have to pass in my list and show it dynamically. Let's work on that now. So I hope you have already understood this particular part. Let me just close it. Move ahead to the, where should I make the changes? Well, basically what I have to do at first, I'm going to fetch the data, and to fetch the data, I have to go to members page, because in the members page we have the members records. And what I have to do is I have to create a function called get members, in which I will actually call my mock data, but not directly. I'll using a service, because I can call that anywhere I want, right? So it's better to use a service for all this stuff, or to interact with your APIs or something. But in this case, we do not have APIs, but still we have the mock data. Now I want to show you everything in a dynamic way, so that even if you work with APIs also, you won't face any problem and you don't have to make a lot of changes. Now Ionic G service, within the services folder, I'm going to create a service called member, but within a member folder I'm going to create that, because we are going to have two files for members. One is for the testing purpose, right? That is why I'm keeping everything within a folder here. So far so good. Also I've increased the font size. I just forgot earlier. Now it is much more visible to you guys, I hope. Alright, now here I'll get the members. I will not apply the filters, but you can work on that too. I'm going to return members, simply members from mock data. You can see suggestion is coming up. I just need to import it from the particular location and we are good to go. How simple it becomes, isn't it? Now once I get this data, I just have to pass it in my get members function within the members page. For using that up, well, actually I have to do a simple task. I have to inject this service, where I can do it in the constructor, but I will be using the inject function for that. So member service equals to inject the actual member service. This is just the name which I have given. You can change as per your requirement. Any name can be passed. Now I can use it directly. This dot member service dot get members, which will return me the member list. And how will I get this member list? Well, I'm going to have that member list into my member signal function. So members equals to signal. This is how I'm going to use it. I'm going to pass the type to it of members array, okay, which is the interface I'm using. And initial value will be an empty array. Now, once I do that up, I will initialize it here. This dot members dot set function will be used to set the data here. Okay, it's not member service, it's members. It's fine. This is ready. So we get the proper data now. Once I get the data, let me just close this service, not needed. I'll go to the HTML file and work on that. So instead of passing this particular dummy array which I've created here, I'll pass the actual stuff like members function, because we will get the writable signal function which I've already explained in my Angular signals video. You can just check that out. After I get the data, I'm going to pass each data one by one to this particular component. Don't worry, I'm going to have the input signal also, but let me just pass the data at first in this particular way. I'll be getting the error. To get rid of the error, let me go to the component and work on it. So this is my component. I'll go to the TS file. In the TS file, in order to get rid of the error, I have to pass an input signal. So member equals to, directly I can pass the input signal so that it can take or accept a value from anywhere else wherever this particular component is getting called. This will also be of type member, and I have to pass an initial value. So Either it can be member or let's say it can be null also. And initial value, I'll pass it as null. However, it's not going to be null. What if I don't pass any value? Will it give me an error? Well, likely not. So I can keep it in this particular way instead of having two types and passing null value. Okay. Now, up till here, I will get the record. If I check it in my ng on init, it will not show in constructor. After the view is loaded, then only it's going to show me the data. So I'll be getting the data here. This is going to be this dot member function I have to pass to get the data. Let's check it in my console log. So what's wrong here? Well, one thing is wrong, which is in member page.ts file. I have created this function, but I'm not calling it my ng on init, which I should do. As soon as the view is loaded, I want to call get members function automatically. Alright, that's the first priority. As soon as I do that, I'm getting the records, and you can just check it here in ng on init. We are getting one record each, okay, with all the data that we need. Now we need to fill up the data into our component.html file. Let me just show you how we can do that. Let me just close all this stuff here, close all, get back, and I'm going to go to the ts file at first. Just remove this console log, or should I keep it? No, actually I don't need it. Let me remove it. In the HTML, I will have everything filled up with dynamic data now. Starting off with the image part. So for the image, let me make it dynamic, and I have to pass here the URL. So it's going to be not a string member. Let me pass a question mark dot photo. Now, if I pass a question mark, well, it's going to give me an error possibly. Why? Okay, my mistake. I have to pass member function. Since it is an input signal, so it has to be done in this particular way. All right, and I have to pass a question mark. In the similar fashion, I will just pass everywhere the appropriate value, like member name has to be passed here. Then I will have the phone number. So member phone, look at the data. It is changing, right? And it's looking lovely. After that is done, let's move to the other stuff. What is that? Well, basically the plan expiry. Now, plan expiry will come from, let me just check the data at first. I'll match it with the mock data so that I can recall what all things I have passed here. Now, just have a look at the data. I have just changed little bit now. What is that? I have included plan expiry date also. Well, in real time, basically, mostly you have to calculate it up. But when we work with the APIs, we will get it from the backend. So I just forgot to add that. Now I have added it up, and I have added in the interface also plan expiry date, which is needed so that we can show it here, right? So this is our plan expiry date, and some dates are also changed to the latest or at present, whatever the dates are going on. So I have just tweaked little bit of data. As you can see here, I'm going to show you all the records which I have here so that you can apply the same in your case too. Okay, so far so good. Let's apply it up. Package, then plan expiry date I have to pass in my HTML. So instead of this record, I will have member function dot package dot, or I can give a question mark dot plan expiry date actually. So this is what I'm going to have. Now it will show up the proper dates. That's great. I'm liking it. After that, number of days remaining. So I'm going to have, instead of plan expiry date, I'll have days remaining. That also we have already calculated and passed it there. We haven't calculated, but I've just passed it directly into the mock data. Similarly, what is the due amount? Well, we have that field also, which is due amount. All right, I'm getting all the proper data here. That's looking lovely, isn't it? Even if you want, you can change the screen. What if I go for iPhone 13? Let's check it out. Not looking bad, right? In fact, it's bigger and it's better to understand. So I'll keep the same screen for the time being. Let me adjust it. All right, great. Looks good. Now, after this is done, what else do we have? Well, I think we have everything ready, isn't it? That's in fact great. So this is how we have inserted the mock data for our members. And look at the images. I have taken all the images from FreePic. So they are licensed images. You have to pass attribution if you want to use it. So, well, you can just use it as per your requirement, or you can have your own images too. I have kept the images in my assets folder. I have created an imgs folder, and these are the images which I have passed. All right, look at this. So all of them are taken from FreePic. So after inserting the mock data, I just need to do few more stuff with my tabs layout. Let's work on that now. So last but not the least, I need to work around with this tab bar. I need to make it a little bit round by giving some border radius. So I'll go to my tab page SCSS file. I've already applied it, but in a commented way. So for the iron tabs, I need to work around. Let me just show you one by one. Let's uncomment it, and I'm going to show you everything one by one. First of all, whatever I've done done is, to my ion tab bar, I am passing some padding of 1 VH to have some spacing here. Like, right, I want it little bigger, the tab bar, that is why I've given some padding, and then a border radius on top left and top right. On bottom right and bottom left, I have given 0 so that there won't be any border radius here. Only this part is having the border radius, which you can see, right? But it is not looking great because the background color is the whitish color, which I don't want. In order to get rid of that, I have to pass background color to my ion tabs because that is the color which is responsible for this whitish color coming at the background. And how you can identify that up? You can change the background of the ion tab bar, or you can try this up directly. If I pass background to be the color medium, see, it's gone and it's taking the medium color. As we have the ion content color also medium, so I'm keeping the same color here also. And now you can see it's smoothly moving. Next thing, I want to change the border of the ion tab bar. Currently, it's little grayish color, right? I don't want that. Let me pass the medium color. Okay, and look at this now. It is changed and looking much better. So slight changes I have made and the design is looking great. Okay, the icons are bigger and looking better with this spacing. That's what you can do to design your ion tabs, and you can walk around with lots of things. I have made lots of videos on how to make customized ion tabs. You can check those videos if you want to learn. So this is also done. The next thing we are going to work with is the single member detail page. Now to work with this single member detail screen, the design of this particular part will be almost similar, not same. Mostly we are going to have this thing, not this button. Then we will have 2 items here instead of 3. Alright, and that's how we are going to work. But everything will be aligned in a single line. Right here, we are not aligning all the items in a single line, which is not good. So how do I align it? Well, I'm into the member component.scss file in which we have ion row, ion column for this particular part. So for the ion column, if I pass display to be flex and justify content end, means moving all the content towards the end part, then it will be aligned in a single line. Alright, so that needs to be done because how I came to this conclusion is, let me just show you. If I select this up, just check this. Okay, where it is. This is the ion column where we have given, let me just comment this up and then I will show you. Look at this. The text is aligned on the starting position. Alright, so if I check this out, this is the starting position. There it is aligned and there is quite a bit of spacing here on the end part, which I don't want. So that is why I'm just passing this to move all the content towards the right side or the end side. Then it is showing up properly. But after doing that, the spacing here doesn't look that great. In order to fix that up, we have already given a margin as per our requirement. So I'm going to change the right side margin to 0.2 VH approximately, which will give little bit of spacing and with that will look nice. Because if I don't give that, it was almost touching the border, which I don't want. Now let's check for other devices also. So I'm going to go for the Android device. Let's check it here, how it looks like. Okay, still it's looking good. Proper spacing and everything is fine. Let's check in other iPhone device. Nothing is broken. Everything is good to go. Let's get back to our iPhone 14 Pro Max. You can include all the other devices also by just going to the edit and adding some other devices. For me, I'm okay with this particular part. So far, so good. Now to jump into the member details screen, I have to do something. First of all, I have to create a member details screen, for which I'll use the command ionic g page. Within the pages folder, we have the tabs folder. Within the tabs folder, I'm going to create member details screen because this will be a subpage of the tabs page, not the members page, because members page is a children of the tabs layout, and into the member details screen we don't want to show the tabs layout. That is why if I have to remove it, I have to make the member details screen as a subpage of the tabs page. Okay, means this whole page is a tabs page and I have to make a subpage of it, then only this will be removed. Hope you're getting it. That is why it is created in this particular manner. And how will the routing takes place? I'll go to approute.ts file. Now this is very interesting. So in the approute.ts file, this is how it's being passed. Now either I can pass here /tabs/member details. That's gonna be the path, but that's not how we should do it. Either I should create a new route file for the tabs, then it will be easier for me to make you understand. Otherwise, I have to make a children here of this particular path. So let me just show you here only. In this particular way, I'll make it children, within which, what am I going to do? I'll have a default path in this particular way. Now you see, I'm not passing the load component here. Okay, what I'll do is, I'll move this load component stuff and all the other things related to it within my children. The children that I just created, I'll move everything within this particular braces. Now, why am I doing that? You will come to know just now. So what does it mean? Basically, if you go to this particular path, it will hit the children and look for the default path, which will be called by default. Okay, so this is the path which will be called by default and all the other children will be called. Now, if you want to go to the sub page, what you have to do is, let me just pass a comma here, and I'm going to move this up within the children, okay? Children of tabs. So what it will do is, I don't have to pass this path directly, I can pass member detail, because look at this, you need to understand this particular part. See, here I'm only passing the path, no load component is being passed. Load component is moved within the children. That means if you call this up, nothing will be loaded and it's going to look for a component to be loaded, which is passed within the children. So what do we have here? Two things. One is the default screen that we have here. Okay, so let me minimize it, and the other screen is the member detail screen. So you can move from tabs to member detail screen directly. Okay, got it? Because that is a sub page of it, which is inside this particular children, but not a part of the children that we have for the component. Remember that. So hope you are getting it. Now, how do we use it up? Let me just show you. The routing is done and I need to navigate to the member component.html file. If you click on any member here, which means if you click on any card, it should redirect you to that member detail screen. That can be done using router link. So in order to use router link, you have to import it, because we have to either pass router module if you're using standalone project in your TS file in the imports, either you pass router module, or simply if you just want to use router link, simply import that. Once you do that up, now you are eligible to use router link in your project. You can simply pass here member detail. That will do the trick. If I click on it, what is this? Alright, my bad. What happens is, by default, as of now, the route is tab/member. So if I pass it, it will be added after that particular route. So that is why I never do in this particular way, but just to show you up, I did that. Now let me just correct it up. What I'll do is, I will make the route in a proper manner. I want to pass the complete route so that there won't be any chance of any error. So first of all, it's going to go to tabs, and from the tabs, it's going to navigate to the member detail screen. Now if I click on it, just check it out. It's getting redirected to the member detail screen. That's how it's going to work. This is done. Now we need to make appropriate changes to our member component to make it eligible for being used in the member detail screen also, because this particular part, the item part, item part, is the same. There is no change at all in this particular part apart from this particular button. So I can give a condition and work on it. Also, this row which we have created, this won't be shown. Instead of that, I have to create another row. So how do I achieve that particular part? Either I can do one more thing. I can move this item into another component and reuse it up, which actually is a better option. So I will have another component called member personal detail, because this is the personal detail that you are passing here. So Ionic G component, within the components folder, I will have a component called member personal detail and hit enter to create it. We'll move this particular item, copy. I'm going to remove it later on. First of all, let me have that and let me paste everything here. Also, I'll be needing the CSS for this particular item. Let's copy that too, or this time I'll cut this up. Let me cut it and I'm going to paste it here. Okay. Also, it's time that I cut this from here too. And instead of this, I'm going to have my member personal detail component to be called. Okay, it is imported automatically, I think. Yeah, it's ready now. Look at this, it is imported. Now, whatever I don't need here, I will be needing in that particular personal detail component. So the easiest way to work with is, let me remove this standalone to be true, which is not needed anymore, because by default it is standalone to be true. We just align everything properly. I've copied the imports. I'm going to pass it up within my member detail component so that I don't have to type it again and again, as it won't show up properly, and remove the things that we don't need. I'll get all the suggestions. So one is imported, the iron row. Well, I don't need the iron row, I think. Why am I having this? So these two are not needed. I don't need the button, do I? Well, I'll be needing the button, and the icon also. Iron text won't be needed possibly. Let's check it out. What about the iron card? We need that, or actually we don't. We need the iron item. So look at this. I'm getting the imports option, which is great. Then the iron label for the button. Let's do that. We need the iron thumbnail also. This is also done. For the iron icon, the last thing, imported. Errors are gone, and I need to remove an extra comma, which which is available. Format the document. IN card is not needed. Let's get rid of it. Now let's check it out. What all things do we have within our HTML? So I'm getting an error, not a problem. I know how to fix it. I have to pass the input signal to this particular component also. For doing so, let me pass it here. Member equals to input signal, import it of type member. Again, import it, and I won't pass any initial value. Secondly, and in fact, you can make it required field also if you want. I also need one more thing, because there is a button which we have. Let me just show you. Let's fix all the errors at first. Then I'm going to show you what exactly I'm talking about. Let's get rid of all the unnecessary stuff. All right, removed. Let's get rid of here too in the imports. Okay, so far everything looks fine to me. What's wrong here? Ion text is not an element. Where it is? Where is this ion element? Oh, ion text. Okay, so I'm not getting the suggestion. Don't need to worry. I'll import it manually here. Ion text, pass a comma, and simply pass it in the imports also. Then the error will go away. As simple as that. So far, so good. We don't see anything here. Don't need to worry. I have to go to member component.html file and need to pass here member, and the member function will be passed in this particular way. Then we will be able to see the records now. Once again. So by doing that, we have made it independent so that we can use it wherever we want. Okay. How easy it becomes now to work with it. What next I need? Well, the next thing is to pass a condition for this particular button into my personal information component, because I want that on a certain condition, not every time. Okay. So this will have a certain condition at the rate if. What condition name should I give? Let's say is list. If it is a members list, then you simply call it up, otherwise don't call it. So that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to pass this within a condition if list is true. Okay, and how will it come up? Well, I'm going to pass it here. Let's do it. Is list equals to an input signal which will be of type boolean, and by default I'm going to set it to true. So whenever you don't want to show that, you simply set it to false and it will not show up. Now you can see the button showing up. Let's work on that now in our member details screen. So in the member details screen also we need to work with the card. So let's work on that. I'll go to the member details page, not this. Where is the member detail page? This is the one. I'll get inside it and start working with it. First of all, I'm going to clear up everything which we don't need. Ion title, which will be member detail. I don't need translucent. Then after applying it up, I also need to pass the color for my toolbar to be the secondary color. Then I will have similar stuff which I already had in my member screen. What is that? Basically, I need those buttons which are available here at the end, the notification and add circle button. So both the things I need in that particular member details screen also. So let me just have that within the HTML. So few things are repetitive which you can avoid if you want to. Okay, just hover on it and it will be imported automatically. There you go, and you will see the icons now in this particular place, which is great. One more thing we need to work with is the ion buttons on the starting position. That will be the back button. So for working with the back button, there is a component called ion back button which I need to work with, where I'll pass default href, means where to go back. So default href will be /tabs/members. That's going to be the route which I need to show here. Okay. Now you see the icons are disappeared. Why? Because we haven't given the add icons into our page. It is available within the tabs page members list, okay, not within the member detail. So we have to register it here also if you are just loading this particular page. Don't need to worry. If you have passed it twice or thrice also, once it is registered, it's not going to duplicate that, which is a good stuff. So I'm going to pass it here also. The same thing. I need add circle and notifications icon. This will show up now. Great. This is sorted. Now I don't think I need common module and forms module. So I have removed it and will remove it from here too. Everything is sorted now. Alright, next thing is I have to make the content background to be medium color or the light color, which one was it? Yeah, medium color only. Done. Within the ion content, we'll start work with the ion card once again. Within the ion card, I'll have the div. Within the div, I will have first of all app member personal detail. That's what I need. And I'm going to pass the member data, which I'm going to get it. Don't need to worry. So member function, don't worry, I'll create it. And also is list will be set to false this time, because by default we have set to true. So we don't need to pass it in our member list screen. But here, since we have to set it to false, that is why I'm doing that. I'm getting errors. It's time to fix it. To fix that up, I'll go to the member service and get member by ID. And there is an interesting thing which I will show you now, because one thing I didn't show you, which is very needed to pull this off. So how will I get the ID? I haven't passed it, right? When I navigate from this particular component, member component, I'm not passing any ID, or even in the routes also, I haven't done anything as such. So what can I do is, instead of passing member detail, I can also pass /tabs/members/ID. That also can be done. What I'm trying to say is /tabs/members, then I'll pass the ID. Now ID, we can directly get it from the member itself. So member function $.id. Now I have to make the necessary changes within my app.route.ts file also, because the name that we have given there is member detail, right? So I'll change it to members/:id. That's how we pass the route if we have to pass here any ID or any other thing. And I have to call with this particular name only, this particular ID. If you change the name, make sure you are calling with that particular name only. I'm going to show you now how we can pull this off. But for the time being, what is the error that is coming up? Let me just check it. Okay, I'm getting an error here. Don't need to worry. Let's fix that. I will create a member signal function which will be of type member interface. Alright, and initially let me set it to null, but it won't take it. I have to pass either member or null and import the signal. Once that is done, the error will go away, right? No, it's not gone. Why? It's not assignable. Null is not assignable. So let me just pass in exclamation, which will say that this is not null, and it will take it up. Alright, but we do not have any data here as of now, so it won't take it. And to fix that up, we have to do something. For the time being, let me just do simple stuff. I will not show the content and pass everything within a defer decorator. So what I'll do here is I'll check when member function is true, which means it will have the value, then only I need to show this particular card or any other information which is present here. In that way, I'll get rid of the error, or it will be loaded only when we have the member data with us. So let's get to the single screen. Now just look at the route. I'll just show you. Look at this, members/1. I need to fetch this ID. To fetch this ID, what I have to do is, in my member detail.ts file, I have to work around with the activated route, which is a default injectable class that is available within the Angular. So in order to use that, let me pass private route equals to inject activated route. Now how to use it? Let me just do it in my ng on init. Let me create a constant called, let's say, data equals to this dot route dot snapshot. There are various ways to get the ID, but I'll show you one of the ways. Paramap dot get, and what will I get here? I'll get the ID. Now here I have to pass the same name that we used it there. Okay, if you pass a different name instead of ID, then it won't show up. Let's console log it to check the value of data, what it comes up. Let's check it here. Look at this. I'm getting 1, which is coming from data, right? Which means this is working. What if I pass ID, let's say ID 1, 2, anything? Okay, I have changed the name. Will I get the data? Just check this out. This is null, which means I'm not getting it. So this naming convention is very important. Let me change it to ID. That's what we are fetching, right? Now, after we get the ID, I'll simply pass a condition if ID exists or not. If it does not exist, I'll give an exclamation symbol to say if it does not exist, then what I'll do, either I can navigate back. In order to navigate back, I have to use nav controller. So let me just show you that part also. Private navctrl equals to inject, and I got to inject nav controller. Spelling is wrong. Let me just correct it. And I have to import it from here itself. So let me just pass it here. Error will go away and I can now use it up. So this dot navctrl dot navigate back. This is a function which I'm going to use. What's wrong here? Let's use back function. And you can even use router also to navigate back, but this is much better because it gives you the look and feel of getting back. Just check this out. Look at this. I'm getting to this particular page and I can navigate back, but let's say I don't have any ID. I don't pass any ID. What will happen then? So let me just check it out. If I go to, where should I go to? This particular screen, and let me not pass any ID. Instead of that, I'll cut it and I'm going to pass null here. Let's check it now. What happens? If I get back and click on it, well, I'm still getting here. Why? Is this taken as a string? Possibly. Anyways, let me just do one more thing. I'll just get back the same stuff and I'm going to change the name here. That would be better to understand whether it works or not. So if I give ID 1, let's see what happens. I'll just reload it and click on it. Just look at it. It's getting navigating me back, which is nice. So let's keep it in this particular way. And I want the transition in that similar manner, which shows that it is navigating back. Otherwise, using router and passing navigate back is little troublesome. You have to work around with little bit of things. I don't want that. So that is why I've shown you nav controller, which is fine for simple stuff. Alright, so far so good. If ID is available, then what will I do? Well, I have to call a function called, let's say, get member by ID. Okay, and I will pass the ID here. That's what I need to do. You can make a global variable for this particular class if you want for the ID, but I don't think I'm going to use it anywhere else as of now, because this is just for the designing purpose. If you want, definitely you can pass it anywhere you want. Like if I create ID of type number, okay, which will be initialized to, let's say, 0 or something, whatever you want. And or if you don't want to initialize, definitely you can pass an exclamation symbol here. That will also do. And let me initialize this value, this dot ID equals to ID, because this value will not change, so I can pass it up. Okay, string or null is not assignable to type number. Now why is this creating a problem? Because we are getting a string or null here, and what we have in the mock data, we have it as a number. So we have to convert this particular ID that we are getting into a number. To do so, what I'll do is I will use parse int and pass this ID within that. Okay, and we'll pass this condition that if it exists, then only we'll go ahead. Okay, one more thing, that is why I'm getting this problem. If you're navigating back, I want to return. I don't want to execute anything else. Now, if I do that up, see, this error is gone because it is checking and it is stopping it here itself. It's not going ahead. That's what you need to work with. So far, so good. Now, instead of calling this function directly, I will get the data from the service itself. But let's create a function only, because if you want to show a loader or something, definitely you need this kind of function. And I will not pass the ID because I have already passed it within a global variable, which I can use anywhere I want. So anything else not needed. It's time to create this function and work with it. Get member by ID, where I'm going to call the data from my service. So in order to use this service, I have to inject that also. So private member service equals to inject it up, member service imported. Okay, so far everything is ready to go, and I just need to call this member service dot get member by ID function, where I'll pass this dot ID. Okay, now this should return me the data which I'm going to set within my signal, okay, which I have it here. So in order to do that, I'll get the data which I'll be getting here within, let's say, member constant, and after I get that, I'm going to set this dot member dot set signal function will be set to this particular member that I'll be getting. Okay, now there is a possibility that this will not have anything, means it can be null also. I can keep a condition that if it exists, then only I'm going to show up. Now what's wrong here? An expression of type void. Don't need to worry, I'm going to work with this particular function. That is why it's getting me the error. So let's get to the function, and I pass this condition, so there is no issue with that now. But even if it is null, I can still take that because we have that particular type being passed, okay, to our signal, that it can take null also. Anyways, let's get back to our service and work with this particular functionality now. How will I do that? I'll simply return the members data that I get from the mock data dot, I'll use the find function. Now, how do I find this? Well, I will have the member data one by one. I just need to match the ID here, and that will do the trick. So if member.id triple equals to means strictly checking the ID that we have in our parameter argument. So if it matches, I'm simply going to return that particular record. Okay, that's what I need to do. That's it. Whether it is null or anything, whatever it is, I will simply return. Alright, once I do that up, I can go to the member details screen and I will get the data set here. So once the data is set, this function will not trigger anything. Basically, this will get set and we will be able to see the details. Let's check it out. If I get inside it, okay, I'm getting back. Why? Because I didn't correct the stuff which I did here. Actually, I just changed it to ID1, navigating back to ID, which is the correct way. Now I'll get the record here too. That's great. That's what I needed. With the same design for the personal detail, right? Now it's time to execute the other stuff. Alright, after playing with the design a little bit, I came to know that if you pass center here, everything will be centered up, the and column, which is not great. So I should pass either start or end. So I'm passing by default start, and wherever I need anything else, I've already done that in my SCSS file. Where is it? There you go. We have applied justify content to be end and passes important. Okay, see here, everything is aligned properly now, but it is not in the same line. To have everything in the same line, I need to reduce the width a bit more. To work with that, what I have to do is I will pass width for this particular row which we are passing into our members list to be having 85%. Alright, and let's make it important. Now for the default that we have in our global.scss, I'm going to change it to 80%. You can do vice versa. Wherever you want to change it, you can do that up. Now once I pass 80%, it is aligned properly. And if you just get back, just check this out. There is no impact here, which is great. This is how you can work around with the designing part. See, designing is something which you need to try and understand. Okay, since I am designing the screens on the go, so some of the things can be trickier. That is what I want to show you, how to solve the trickier part. Let me remove it, with the help of which you will come to know how to proceed or think about solving this kind of a problem. I hope you're getting that and you must be enjoying it, possibly. If I would have been in your place and somebody explaining me these things, this tricky part, I would have loved it. So I'm trying to do the same for you guys. Hope you enjoy. Let me know in the comment section how you're liking this particular video so far. Anyways, let's get ahead. After gender, what do I need? I'll pass it here. So next thing is batch name. And how do I get the batch name? Member dot. Well, I also need the batch name, which I forgot to pass in my mock data. So let me just pass batch name. And now it is not giving me the error because I have added it up. Just now I have added it. I didn't show you. So this is the batch name which I have included in my interface. See, these records we can change while doing it. Means it is not yet prepared. It is in the preparation stage. So whatever things I need, I can include it to make it perfect. All right. And in the mock data also, I have included the batch name. So I've used ChatGPT for this. I gave the complete records in my ChatGPT and asked it to provide or to include the batch name within it, and it has done that. So sometimes you need to take the help of AI tools to get your data as per your requirement. I've got it very quickly and now everything is sorted. You can do the same because this is the era of AI and you need to know how to use the AI tools in your own benefit, but don't depend on that, of course. So we got the batch information, but before the batch information, I think I should also pass the address. So let me just cut this and pass it above. There should not be any dot. Now you see, I have moved the gender or one of the columns at the top of batch name. Now I'm going to rename it to address. Here also address. Okay. Last but not the least is the batch timing. So the heading will be batch time along with the value batch time. Okay. So everything is ready here with the basic details or the person details along with the business information. After this is done, it's still not yet over. We have to add some more stuff within our card. So the next thing that we are going to work with is basically the call icons or taking the attendance. So basically the functional buttons that we are going to have, I'll place it after this particular div. So let's work on that. Well, to work with that, let me have another iron row within which I'll do everything within an iron column only. So iron column, let's say it's gonna be of size 4 because I'm going to keep 3 buttons in one row. And the design that I'm going to have within this will be passed in the widget. Okay, so that I can reuse it wherever needed. So let me just create one quickly. So Ionic GC within the widgets folder. Let me name it as action button. Well, you can also pass with heading if you want to, but that will be quite big, right? Action button with name or with heading. But let me keep this particular name for the time being. It's simple, precise, easy to understand also. And let's work on that. So what I'll have is basically almost the same stuff. I will not have any label. I'll be having the p tag, of course. So let's work on that. Let me pass it in the HTML. So what all things I need, I'll keep all those. Instead of p tag, let me have a div. And for the iron label, instead of that, I'll be using an iron button. Where fill will be clear, I just want to show the icon. That is why fill will be clear. And within this, I'm going to pass the iron icon. Where name will be, I'll be passing it dynamically. And slot will be icon only. To check once, I need to pass a name. Okay. And for the text, it will be button name. And for the icon, let me make it dynamic first. Let me pass icon. Okay. This is how I'll pass the dynamic data. And alignment of the div, basically all the items that are present within it will be centered up, not at the start. So centering everything. Don't worry about the errors. We will solve that Now let's check this particular thing. Now for the ion text that we have, I will use this particular design. Okay, so let me just pass it in my action button on my ion text that is present within the div, this particular stuff. It's fine now. This will be done. Now also I need to change the color of the button. So color of the button will also be dynamic. Color, well, you can simply pass it. Let me call it button color or icon color, whichever you want to say. Okay. Now icon color will be equals to input signal that will take a value of type string. And what will be the initial value of this particular thing? Let me pass medium color. After this, I have to work with the icon that I need to pass. So again, input signal. This will also be of type string. I won't pass any initial value to it. Last but not the least is the button name. Again, input signal. That will also be of type string. And I won't provide anything here too. Great. This is ready now. It's time to work with that. But at first, I need to get rid of the error and try it out. So in order to get rid of the error, let me pass everything in the imports. So starting off with ion button, imported, ion text, and ion icon. Imported. This time I'm getting a suggestion, so I've imported everything quickly. Now it's time to use that into our member details screen. Where is it? There we go. I'll apply it here. App, action button. It is imported. I'll start off with the icon that I need to pass. For the first icon, which should be the call. So it will be call as a string. Okay. Or in fact, you can do one more thing. You can get rid of it so that you can pass the string directly. Don't worry, it will not show up as I have to import it at first. But let me just pass a button name also. So the button name will be call. That's it. Let's try it. If I pass here in the add icons, call button, not the call button, call icon. Let's see, what do we see? We do see the icons coming up, but the color, I'm not loving it. It should be a proper color and the spacing is quite a lot. I don't want that much of spacing here. So let's work on the design part of it. I'll go to the action button and start working with the design part. Let me give 0.7 REM and the color is fine. But I want to apply the same dark gray color to my ion icon also. So what if I remove this color which I'm passing here by default and I'll go to my SCSS file and start working with the button. So for the button, what will I do is I'll work with the ion icon to pass a background to it. Of which color? Well, it should be background or color directly. Let's try it out. Let me just pass dark gray. Let's check it out whether it works or not. Or should I pass directly gray? Let's see. No, it's not applied. It's not applied at all. What about if I pass it directly? No, that's a background color. Okay. What if I pass color? Otherwise, I have to check the documentation. What should I pass it here? No, that's not getting applied. Alright, if I pass directly the color, it's working. This is how I need to do it. And I need to make the button large because I want the icon to be large. Okay, so let me pass here button size to be large. Let's see whether any changes are applied. No, exactly. So I'll just get rid of it and I'll increase the font size here. Font size to be, let's say, 2 REM. How much it is? Well, that's quite big. I don't want that big. 1.5 REM will be fine, I think. I think I'm happy with that. Okay, and if you want a little bit more bigger, then I think 1.8 REM will be okay. Yeah, I think 1.8 is better actually. I can keep that. I need to reduce the spacing, so let's check it out. How can we achieve it? Now this button is having some margin. I need to get rid of the margin to remove the additional spacing that it has. For doing so, let me pass here margin bottom to be 0 and keep the other margin as it is. So it is reduced to some extent, but not that great. And also I'll increase the font size of the text. Now it's much more visible, right? So this much spacing is fine. So our action button is ready. So now let's design the other icons because the basic stuff is ready. Let me just clear everything and get back to my detail page once again. Now let me quickly paste it 5 more times. So 1 with some spacing will look better. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now look at this. I have passed all the names, proper names, along with the icons that needs to be used. Alright. Now the only thing that I need to do is import these icons. So wherever I'm using the icons, let me just show you at first. For the renew barbell, attendance I am passing person. For the blocking, I'm passing band icon. Okay, chat box ellipsis for the SMS because we do not have proper SMS icon in our ion icons. Okay, so you need to pass some relevant information as per the requirement. So WhatsApp, logo WhatsApp. Okay, it's not WhatsApp logo, it's logo WhatsApp. So I need to change this to logo WhatsApp. Now it will show up, right? What's next? Chat box, ellipsis, done. Next one is person for the attendance, then barbell for the renewal and band for block. So now we have got all the icons, but I want some margin to be applied on the iron row that we have here. Okay, for which I'll pass here a class iron margin top. Not top, actually on all sides I need to pass an iron margin. It's looking better, right? Last one more thing I need to apply is a border top. For doing that, let me pass a class here, or in fact I can directly pass border top class. Wherever you need a border top to be passed, definitely you can use this particular class. But I'm not going to pass only in this particular CSS, not globally. But if you want to use anywhere else in your project, definitely you can try it out. Border of 1 pixel solid. And which color should I pass? Let me pass dark gray color, but it should be only at the top. So border top. Just check this out. Now there is one thing which I need to take care of. I need to apply some padding also. So let me pass here to the iron row. I've already passed the margin. So now here I'm going to pass iron padding top also. Just check it now. It's looking fine, isn't it? So the design is appropriate. We are almost at the end part. Just final few things are left to design. Then we are done with this particular video. Now here I will be showing you the packages. What all packages this particular user or the member is holding. In order to show that, what am I going to use? Well, I'll be using another iron card. What is that? What is this condition for? Okay, when we have the member, then only I want to show you. So it will be within this particular condition only. Now iron card, what am I going to have? I'll show the plans, but before the iron card, I want to use an iron item divider. Iron item divider to show a text called packages. There you go, we have it. Now within the iron card, I will be using my widgets. Which is that? Well, I'll be using the info card. Basically, I want to show the label and text below that. So this design is perfect for that. So what am I going to do? Let me pass here iron card header, in which I will pass the plan name. That's gonna be member.package.plan. And I'm going to pass a question mark here, which is already being passed, so not a problem. And this should be imported, which is done. Great. You see, I'm getting the data. So within this iron label, I can pass the color of primary. We're going to look at the sizing and all later on. First of all, let's design everything up. Now, after this is done, I will have everything in my iron card content. So these tags are available within our iron card by default, so I can directly use it up. Spacing and everything will be aligned properly here. Now here I'm going to simply pass iron info card, which will take the heading as a string. Along with that, it will also have the value. So both of them will be string, but this one will be dynamic as we are getting the data from the members. So first one will be what will be the total amount, and the value, it's gonna be member question mark dot package. So I can create a variable for it at the rate let package equals to member function question mark dot package. All right, then I can access this package here directly, question mark dot total amount. That's what I'm going to pass. You can see the description is coming up, which is great. Similarly, I have to pass other stuff, but I'm going to wrap up everything within iron row column, not directly I'm going to pass it. So iron row, and within that the iron column, I'm going to have 3 items in a row. So size will be 4, and then I'm going to pass it up. Okay. Now simply copy the column and just pass it 5 more times. You will be able to see the design. That's great. Now we just need to change the names and everything, and we are good to go. After total amount, the next one will be discount. So package dot discount. Next is the purchase date. So we already have this purchase date, which will be passed directly. Next is paid, which is also passed. How much you have paid, what is the total amount, and how much discount you have. So everything is proper, right? Because 540 plus 60 is 600. Next is due amount. How much is due? So due amount will show up here. You have due amount 60. Well, that is just for showing because you already have got a discount, right? So there is no due amount to be present. Last but not the least is day remaining. So days remaining will be passed, and we get the entire data now. Now let me pass a class to this iron card so that I can use all the designs or do anything there. Let me name it as package only. Okay, let's work on that in our SCSS file. Now iron item divider, I need to work around with that at first. For the background, let me pass transparent. What if I pass the background color as green, whether it works or not? I just want to show you. Yes, it's working. That means I can give transparent also. After this is done, I'll work with the package class. So within the package class, the first thing I'll work with is iron card header, where we have the iron label, whose font size I'll increase it to, let's say, 1.2 rem, which is quite big. I think 1 rem will be fine. Yes, I'll make it bold. So font weight will be bold, and it's quite visible now. Even I'll make the iron item divider font weight to be bold. Looking nice, right? What else I have to do? Alright, I made a minor change, and this alignment is looking much better now. What I did is, within the iron column that we have, I passed another div and aligned all the data to center up. Now, this is centered up properly. Okay, I don't have any problem problem with this particular data now. So once this is centered up, we have more spacing here. And if I just check it properly, let me just show you what am I trying to do here and what actually I have done. I'm not trying to do, I have already implied. Let me just show you. Look at this. This is the ion column and the content within that is not exactly at the center, but the alignment is towards the center of the content. So we have some spacing at the initial point. That is why it is looking much better. Okay, so play around with the design as per your requirement. Everywhere I have passed div align center in all the ion columns. Also see, this is repetitive and you can work on it in a loop too. But since I don't want to do that, so I will leave the content as it is. We can pass a JSON data in the TS file and pass all the content all together in a loop. But let it be for the time being. This is fine. I think I should increase the font size a little bit. It was looking good, but still I feel there is something which I can do here. Now this is fine, I think. 1.1 rem. And along with that, I think some margin left will look good on this iron card, not on the iron card, actually on the iron label it will be fine. So margin inline start, let's say 1vh margin I'll give it here. Okay, that's better. Along with that, I also want to pass margin inline start for my ion item divider also, or in fact it should be padding inline start. So padding inline start of 1vh, I should increase it to 2vh. That's better. And is there any default padding that is applied here? Let's check it out, because I want to reduce the spacing at the bottom and increase the top a bit more. So let's check it out on my ion item divider. What is being applied? Well, nothing is being done. What about the ion card? We do have lots of margin available. So let's check it out. What am I doing? I've not applied anything. So margin top on this package, I will set it to margin top of 1vh will be fine. Yeah, that's looking fine. What about the margin top here? So let me give directly, instead of passing it here, let me give ion margin top to my ion item divider. Ion margin top. Let's check it out. See, that's working. Now final touch-up I would like to apply on my ion card. So what's there in the ion card? Should I pass something? Well, yes, actually I should. That is basically the margin on the left and right side, or the padding. So let me just check where exactly I'm trying to apply all of it. Well, nowhere else. I think in pieces I have applied it. Anyways, so class ion padding horizontal, because at the top we already have some padding. This is quite a lot. I don't want that much of padding. So I have to apply it from the CSS part. So let me wrap all of it. I'll cut it and wrap everything within the ion content in this particular way and work on the ion content for passing padding inline start to be how much? 1vh or 2vh? Well, I think I should increase it to 2vh. I think that's not working. No, it's not getting applied. Well, that happens because we have default padding in our ion content, which is denoted by this particular one. Now you see it is getting applied. So let me just change it to 2vh, which is quite a lot. What about 1vh? I think 1vh might be good. Possibly let's try with 0.5vh. That would be better. So 0.5vh on the start, and what about on the end? I should pass the same. Let's try it. Alright, now it's looking great, isn't it? I'm loving it. So the designing is finally done for our member detail. Now one last thing I would like to show it to you. If you want to change the routing, then what you have to do. But before that, I think there is a warning here that is coming up. Why? Okay, I'm not using ion item. So let's remove it, and anything from the imports I have to remove. Yes, I do. The ion item. Once that is removed, everything is good to go. Alright, everything is sorted. Now let's go to our app route.ts file. If you want to pass it from the members itself, which means that you want to show the tab screen and you want to redirect from your members page to this particular page with the tab screen, then what you have to do? Let me show you that part also, because this design will look good with that particular transition too. So I'll first copy it, comment it. Next thing, I am going to make a children out of it and pass it there. Even you can move this particular stuff as it was earlier, but I'll keep it the same. Or should I comment and pass it once again? Let's do that. So what am I going to do? Let me just copy everything from here. Okay, I'll copy it and comment everything. Alright, you can just check it out and understand what exactly I've done. I'll paste it once again, remove this particular stuff, or should I copy it? Yes, I should cut it. And the next thing is to pass tabs here. Move it outside in this particular way. Get rid of this children, not needed. If you need, you can just uncomment this up and use it up. Now we have the tabs once again back to normal. I will work with this particular path, make a children of it like we did earlier. and let me just pass this particular path here. Okay, so what am I trying to do? When the names are same, either you can pass in this particular way or you can make a children out of it. How to do that? We have already seen that. So I'll make a children of it in the similar fashion which we applied for the tabs. I will have a default path and the component will be passed within that in this way. Okay, the next route that we are going to have within this will be this particular one. So I'll cut it and paste it here. By doing so, I do not need members here anymore. Okay, I can directly pass only the ID. So this is nested routing that you need to understand. Let's check it now how it looks like. If I click on this now, just check this out. We have the tab screen and we have the detail information present here. It's looking nice, right? So in a similar fashion, you can work around with this designs as per your requirement. That's what I did. And also if you want to change this particular button color, definitely you can work on that too. If I want to give the primary color, it's pretty simple. You have to go to your component, the member component, not exactly the member component. We have made another component for this particular part, which is the personal detail. So in the personal detail, if you want to change the icon, you simply need to change the color here, set it to primary color, and it will change everywhere. Well, the changes are not getting reflected, so I think I need to stop and run it again. Let's try it. There you go. You can see the icon has changed, which is looking good. So you can try whichever icon you like to have it here. All right. Even if you want, you can pass the warning color also. Well, I'll keep the primary color, and if you want to change the icon color, definitely you can do that up. Color will be dark. So the icon within that will have the dark color. See, the whole icon is changed to the dark color, which I don't want. So I'll just leave this particular stuff as it is. So let me keep it as black only. If you want the primary color, definitely you can apply it. Both are looking good, but mostly you keep the secondary color as your button color. Okay, so it's fine. Now if you see our theming, mostly it's black and yellowish color, right? So you can keep the yellow color if you want to, which is our primary color. Okay, so that completely depends on the design part. I am finding both of them to be fitting this particular design. Alright, so our design is finally complete.
So we have come to the end of this particular video. I hope you liked it. If you like it, make sure you hit the like button. Do share with your friends and everyone who wants to learn it up. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do that up. That will help the channel grow. With that being said, I'm going to wrap up for the day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to see you next time.